Hi everybody, welcome back to the Social Distance Kitchen. So today we're doing something a little different, and it's entirely based on a conversation that me and my friends have been having for years about what we were going to do in the event of a zombie apocalypse. We had a whole zombie apocalypse plan about how we were going to get out of the city on bicycles and how everyone had to have a skill. I have a friend who sews and a friend who knows how to grow things, and I'm the friend who cooks. But I kept insisting we had to put off the zombie apocalypse because there was a food I don't know how to make. But I learned how to make it, finally. And you're gonna make it with me. Because even though this is not the zombie apocalypse, we are all just hanging out in our houses, being cool, social distancing. Today, we're making my very own special zombie apocalypse cheese!
It only takes a few easy ingredients to make cheese on your own. I've got a liter of milk, and I'm using lemon juice today for an acid. You can also use plain vinegar or apple cider vinegar, and they'll work as well. The only thing you really need to think about with the milk is you do not want ultra pasteurized milk. The best milk to use for this is whole, but I'm using 2% today because that's what they had at the grocery store. So we're just going to get this into a saucepan. This is going to be pretty easy one-step cooking. We're just going to take this and get it onto the oven over a medium heat. So what we want to do with this milk is scald it. For people who don't know what that means, we're heating it up to almost a boil, but not quite. You don't want to boil it, that'll be going too far. So we're going to heat this until it steams and starts to bubble up. Once it does get started, it happens fairly fast, so you're gonna want to keep a fairly tight eye on this. You'll see as it goes along, it does get a skin over the top, but you don't need to stir it or anything. Just continue to keep a close eye on it at this point. See how it's beginning to get some little bubbles around the edges? That's edging really close to where we want it to be. So you're just waiting for it to be steamy. You'll see some little bubbles rising up underneath the skin, and when it starts to really kind of bubble a bit more around the edges like it's doing now, that's when you can consider that scalded. We're going to take it off the stove and move on to our next step. Now that our milk's been scalded, we're going to add our acid, and that's what's going to separate this into curds and whey. So I've got 2 tablespoons of lemon juice here. I'm just going to dump that in and stir it just a couple of times to mix it around, but not too much. I really want some good curds to form in here, so I don't want to disturb it. Now you can see the curds already forming. I'm just going to pop a lid on top of this, and now I'm going to walk away and just wait for it to cool down enough to work with. All right, so this has had a chance to cool. Look at that, so many curds. Friends, that's your cheese. So at this point, the only thing left to do really is, this is a very mild cheese, so I'm gonna salt it a bit. I like a little bit of salt in cheese. Also, I really like herbed cheeses, and I have some dill that's been hanging around my house, so I'm going to add a bit of that too. You could also add things like cracked black pepper or a little bit of garlic, anything like that. If you want to flavor your cheese, I say go for it. So once you've got your salt and your herbs in there, we're just going to give this another little stir just to make sure that the salt has dissolved and is kind of evenly distributed in there, so you don't have one really salty bite of cheese and the rest of it plain. So what I've got set up here is a deep pot with, you can use cheesecloth if you have it, but this is actually just a really sheer tea towel. So you just dump all of your curds and whey straight into that bigger pot. And then when you gather the cloth together, that's going to pick up all of your curds, all the solid part of the milk, and let all of the whey and liquids pass through. So once you have that gathered up, what you want to do is basically just get the rest of the excess moisture out of your cheese. So I'm going to kind of twist this tea towel up a bit. It also helps to give your cheese a little bit of a shape. Give it a squeeze. You do want to get most of the moisture out of this. By the way, that thing in the top corner, I've been balancing my camera on a box of mac and cheese stuck out of my cupboards to do all of this filming from above, and I accidentally bumped it, so sorry about that. Once you've gotten most of the moisture out of this, you're just going to pick back up whatever spoon you were using to stir everything. Tie the top of your tea towel or cheesecloth or whatever around it, and set it back over your deep pan here. And you're just going to leave that suspended so that the rest of the moisture drips out. It's probably been about an hour. I really wasn't paying attention. But when you open this back up after it's had some time to drain, look, real, honest to goodness cheese. So I'm just going to put this into a little bowl here, and also pick the extra bits out of the tea towel because I don't like to waste anything. For storing this, you can just put it inside of a plastic baggie inside your fridge. It should be good for up to a week. It is a fresh cheese though, it's not meant to store forever. And by the way, your tea towel here, just rinse it out with really hot water, wash it, and it's good to go back to its normal function.
Well, there we go, guys. You just made cheese. It was surprisingly easy, and you didn't even need a zombie apocalypse to do it. All you needed was a few days to sit at home and get bored enough to start cruising the internet for videos on how to make cheese. So I'm gonna take this and make myself a nice omelet because that's my favorite thing to do with fresh cheese. I hope you have fun finding something to do with yours too. Thanks for coming by today, and until next time, stay home, stay healthy. Bon appetit. So right now, my roommate's laughing at me from the other room because apparently I'm a spaz when I shoot videos. Anyone not shocked? I know none of y'all are shocked.